Yes, Kazuya? What is it? Yuma, are you having any problems? It seems like you're taking an awful long time. Yeah, it's taking me a bit. It's the submarine tunnel safety device. I can't seem to release one part of it. Nothing was displayed here until just now, but HQ might have changed that to facilitate the bombing. Are we going to be alright? I mean, you're not going to tell me that the train's stuck here, right? No, it's fine. That won't happen. Maybe because they thought the evacuation was complete and no one would be here, they assumed no one would be around to perform the release. I can remove most of the locks here on this terminal, but it looks like the lock on the rail car can only be lifted in the vehicle control room in the basement downstairs. Once I finish the work here, someone will need to go downstairs to find it. Looks like it's going to take a while. The vehicle control room in the basement? Okay, I'll go do it. Thanks, Kazuya. That'd be a great help. I'm going to prepare for our departure. If anything happens, contact me on the radio. Else? Ah, yes, here we go. What is it? Is there something you want to ask me about? About, Mika. I found out Mika was MOW agent after checking a USB stick she left behind after the Cancellation attack. On it were records about me from when I was in college. In particular, there was a very detailed email that had been forwarded to someone about what had happened after I joined the military. The address it had been forwarded to had been corrupted, but her MOW member ID was in the sender field. It's funny, isn't it? She didn't join the army because she loved me. She only wanted to keep an eye on me. So she forced herself to join the same active unit as me, got her hands on an unfamiliar gun. Yuma. After that, I got curious and tried investigating why she wanted to dispose of you. I couldn't find a single mention why. I did find out that it's only very recently that she started considering you and me to be dangerous, though. Alright. About the cancellation of your cryogenic stasis. Yuma, about what we talked about back in the elevator. About how me being released from the cryogenic stasis wasn't a coincidence. The procedure after evacuation was completed was to disable the main power and communications network at each facility. But Mika secretly restored your shelter's functionality remotely from this comms room. It seems she had some plan in mind. I tried asking her about it, but she just ran away apologizing frantically. She was saying things like, "It wasn't supposed to be like this, and I don't have a choice, and please forgive me." So then, Mika must have been the one to disable it? Probably. She quickly cut her connection off from me soon after, so I never found out what she'd been up to at that time. But I decided to leave the shelter's comms online just in case. Then, sure enough, something came through. So is that why after I woke up the only active line was to the harbor? I can only guess now, but I think she wanted the demons in the city to deal with you. If I hadn't noticed, it probably would have been written off as a simple accident at one of the shelters after the evacuation. Alright, about the survivors. Were you and your unit the last survivors to escape from the city? No, not exactly. My unit was just the tail end of a group helping to evacuate citizens. There were other units dispatched to separate missions in the city. They each had their own method of escaping, like helicopters and transport planes. But none of those could said to be particularly safe methods. In fact, we lost contact with more than a few squads. But the reason we evacuated civilians on foot was because the skies were infested with those harpy spawn. Combat helicopters aside, there was no way we could risk passenger planes carrying civilians being targeted by those things. Yeah, if I remember correctly, those harpy spawns specifically target the weak and defenseless. Speaking of which, Kazuya, did you encounter any survivors in the park? There's a unit evacuating civilians through there under the command of Captain Toshiaki, but we ended up losing contact with the squad. Toshiaki? He's a gray-haired man with a bit of a weathered face. He's not the sort of guy who'd go down without a fight. Did you see him in the park anywhere? Yeah, he was in Archne's nest. He's the one we saw got ate. Yep. That's him. Be honest. No point in keeping quiet about it. He's dead. He was captured by a demon. I tried to help him, but his body had been dissolved. I was too late. I see. I'm sure he was prepared for death. He was a soldier, after all. Captain Toshiaki, was my instructor. He was assigned to his unit after I joined the military and received my training there. Even after I got a unit of my own, he continued to look after me. He was like a partner. Alright, about the vehicle control room. The vehicle control room is not far from here. Go down the stairs and follow the path. It'll be straight ahead of you. If you go down the staff passage from this room, it should be simple enough to find without you getting lost. It should be obvious how to unlock the rail car by looking at the nearby panel. But if there's something you're not sure about, call me over the radio and I can provide instructions. Alright. To the rail car. So you finally gotten this far, huh, Kazuya? Hyaki? This world has changed so much in such a short period of time. It's as if time was stopped and has been quickly trying to catch up. Changing fate has always been a tricky thing to pull off. It's not just your fate. A massive event in this world is about to be altered. Of course, I have absolutely no clue what this event will be, or what will happen to you. But I'm sure there has to be some meaning to you getting this far. I don't know if it'll help you find the answer, but I'll give you this. This is a cassette tape. When you were being chased around by Kamazolts in the parking lot, a certain woman gave this to me and asked me to hold on to it. Seeing you now, I think you should have it. You'll need a particular device to listen to it, and you'll need the courage to hear the truth. Have a listen. I'm sure you'll want to hear it. Thank goodness, it still works. Kazuya, I know I promised to meet you, but I'm not confident I'd be able to properly talk to you. I haven't prepared myself yet. Also, please give this tape to Hyaki if anything happens to me. The things happening to you right now, and what MOW did to you. I'll explain everything. First of all, there's something I need to apologize for. You must probably already noticed, and I'm sure he'll tell you when you guys meet, so I won't try hiding it anymore. I'm not human. I'm a divine spirit, a race of beings you humans call angels. The name Reina is a pseudonym I gave myself when I approached you. My real name is Reina, or the Thunder of God. My mission in the human realm is to destroy evil gods trying to supplement God himself, or supplant God. Let me try that again. My mission in the human realm is to destroy evil gods trying to supplant God himself and lead their wicked believers onto the right path. I'm sorry, I know saying all this has probably just confused you. But if I don't start from here, then I'm sure I won't be able to convince you. There was an event in a certain rural area not far from the city. The evil god I was targeting that time for suppression was trying to take control of a small region. It was planning to use a young child as a medium in order to materialize into this world. It's a common trick among evil gods and their followers to deceive humans. It wasn't supposed to be anything out of the ordinary for me. I destroyed the evil god with the sword of banishment given to me by my lord, and rescued the child about to be sacrificed. No matter what kind of evil god it is, as long as I can catch them before they materialize, they're simple enough to defeat. But when I tried to pick up and hold the young child, two screaming fanatics came up and attacked me from behind. "Put our offering back!" they shouted. They were the parents of that child. I killed them, even though I knew who they were. Actually, no. I killed them precisely because I knew who they were. Why did I use my sword? It would have been easy enough for me to simply knock them unconscious. I think it was purely because they were people who'd brand their own child as an offering, and that was something I couldn't forgive. I've rehabilitated countless humans who've been misled into joining these cults, so I can tell which ones can be saved and which ones are lost cause. I couldn't do it if it meant handing the child back to those two. That's what I might have been thinking. I investigated later and found out that the child wasn't registered anywhere and didn't even have any birth records. From the very beginning, this child had been raised in order to be a sacrifice to an evil god. I took the form of the child's deceased mother and left it in the care of a church orphanage. That's the best I could do at that time. An angel's magical powers are quite troublesome. It's as if they are colored completely snow white. If you do an evil or malicious act, they immediately begin to become stained and polluted. Then it inflates the corrupted evil tens of times, hundreds of times, thousands of times, before it rampages wildly as a horrible power of destruction. Seems like a key default in your followers there, God. Whatever his reasons for killing one of the Lord's creations with my own hands, I was released from my duties, stripped of my rank, and banished from heaven. However, there was no reason for me to become some fallen angel, existing only to tempt humans. Instead, there was just one path left for me to follow. Seal off the angelic magic within my body, and find a way of ending my life without it affecting the surrounding environment. Angels are ageless beings granted their body from God, but the magic housed within their body is sealed. They can die like any other human. That's why back then, I was standing there at that cliff about to jump. Oh, Nei-chan, what are you doing? He's even got a little mother rabbit there as a doll. That place is dangerous, so be careful, okay? Lots of people fall from there. That's what the priest told me. You're that child No, never mind. It's nothing. When you say priest, do you mean the man who looks after you at the church? You've come a long way. Yep, my name's Kazuya. That's a wonderful name. Did your mommy and daddy give you that name? No, I got it in a dream. This weird lady gave it to me. How long have you been planning this, Mayra? Mommy and Daddy were real nice to me, but they never gave me a name. All they ever said was that I had a real important job to do. Mommy and Daddy aren't coming back. I wonder where they went. Maybe it's because I was bad. Maybe that's why they left me all alone. Maybe Mommy and Daddy don't want me anymore. That's not true at all. You're a really good boy, Kazuya. I'm sure you'll be able to make lots of friends. Your Mommy and Daddy will come back too. I mean, I'm all for making him feel better, but don't straight up lie to the kid. So don't cry, okay? Crying doesn't suit you at all. Okay. Now go on back to everyone before it gets dark. I decided not to end my life. It's not because I was afraid of returning to nothingness. I simply thought it wasn't the right time for me to go. I'd saved that child's life, but killed his parents in doing so. At the very least, I wanted to watch over him to make sure he could lead a happy life. To watch over this child whose fate I had toyed with. To watch over you, Kazuya. I took the identity of a human called Reina, registered myself in the local family register, and integrated into the human realm. Since then, I've been watching over you from close by, never doing anything, just praying that you'd grow up safe and sound. That's all I should have been doing at first, but I stayed in the human realm for too long. I started talking to you when you were a university student, and gradually began falling in love with you. Every time you looked at me with a look of happiness, It felt like the weight of my sin had been lifted a little. I had this silly fantasy in my head of us getting married and spending the rest of our lives together. But fate wouldn't be so forgiving of me. The everyday life I'd wished for was taken from me on that day. Day of the crash. Mika, who was in the back seat at the time of the accident, had only minor injuries but had been knocked unconscious. But I could tell just by looking that you and Yuma, who were in the front, had been badly injured. Hold on, everyone. I'll get help. That will not be necessary. Help will be here very soon. Who are you? Now this is unusual. It's not often that I come across something mimicking a human. Normally those kinds of injuries would heal in an instant, but now that you have sealed away your angelic magic, that body of yours won't be healing anytime soon. What are you talking about? Just what are you? Perhaps I shall change the plan a little at this juncture. Answer the question! What the hell are you? Calm yourself. You want to save those 3 in the car, don't you? In order to do that, you'll need to cooperate. What? Don't worry, it's just a tranquilizer. Everything will be going according to plan when you wake up. To be honest, I'm very interested in you, but I must prioritize our original objective. Lord Bishop, the rescue team has arrived on site. Transport those 4 to the nearby hospital. Take special care with the men. They might prove to be valuable test subjects. Roger that. Now that I think about it, I should have realized back then your abnormality. The days I'd spent as a human had dulled my angelic senses. Yuma's probably told you what happened after that once you woke up from cryogenic stasis. Immediately after the accident, demons appeared all over the world, and every country joined the fight. It eventually escalated to the worldwide demon war. You stayed in a coma after the accident. Mika and Yuma joined the army and threw themselves into battle against demonkind. I simply wanted you to wake up. Without you, there was no meaning to my existence as a human. Even if you had never woken up, I was determined to be together with you. If that had come to pass, I've decided to die with you. It was then that abnormality occurred within Yuma's body. Hearing that Yuma had somehow gained the ability to use magic, I suddenly had a bad feeling about things to come. At the time of the accident, maybe something had been done to all 4 of us and not just me? Maybe it was because you weren't waking up from that coma. That girl I met could see that I was an angel. It's possible she did something. I discovered that she was an executive at MOW and decided to infiltrate that organization to learn the truth. I had to overcome Mika and Yuma's desperate attempts to stop me, though. Now that I think about it, I was being incredibly reckless. I wasn't thinking at all about what to do next. To think you'd be the commander of this organization. It was a lot of trouble to track you down. You are Reina-kun, yes? I see you continue to maintain that human form of yours. You're going to tell me what you did to us back then. Your organization has something to do with the abnormalities showing up in Yuma and Kazuya, doesn't it? It sounds like he has yet to awaken. How worrisome for you that must be, as his lover. But it is almost time. He will awaken soon and be reborn. I knew it! You! What'd you do? What are you plotting? Why are you doing this? The Messiah Project. You must have heard that name at some point if you managed to infiltrate this organization and investigate me. This worldwide war with the demons is said to be an accident brought about by members of this organization, driven to the wall by the government. But in reality, we had intentionally caused it to further the project. To create a messiah who could control humanity as its absolute ruler. No way! Certainly that Yuma-kun, was it? He, or rather D-000, is a very good candidate. He seems to have quite the knack for using magic. There were 3 other candidates ahead of him. A-000 and B-000. But unfortunately, they both dropped out of the running quite quickly. And the failure of C-000 at least provided some useful lessons. We realized that demonic temptation really was the biggest hurdle. Which leads us to the final leading candidate, E-000. No, not Kazuya! It's no wonder he's been so slow to wake. The magic contained within him is quite special. It takes some time for humans to adapt to it and wake up. Sleeping inside him is the root of all magic. Angelic magic. That's right. It's the magic that you had sealed away inside yourself, Reina-kun. What? Long ago, before he was brought here, he had been raised in order to be a human sacrifice. They intended to use his body as a medium to summon an evil deity. Therefore, his body was the perfect vessel for magic power. We have had our eyes on him ever since he was a child. A vessel that was supposed to be the embodiment of evil, infused with the magic of a reckless angel on the verge of losing control. What kind of monster will he become? I wonder. Ah! You made 2 critical mistakes. First, you failed to properly conceal your angelic magic despite sealing it away. And your second mistake was entering Kazuya's life and becoming his lover. Don't you ever forget, you can never wash away your sins. Ah! You'd better hurry if you want to stop our plans. Yuma-kun's already in the final stages of the next phase. If he moves to the next phase, he will lose his sense of self and lead humanity to victory as our pawn. Though we did give him some angelic magic, only his strength has changed. Regrettably, perhaps it was only because we gave him a small amount. But in Kazuya's case, let's just say I have great expectations. Kazuya will wake up in a few days. It will be too late to save him once he starts killing demons and humans. You of all people should know the terrible power of a malicious, rampaging angel. You'll have to kill them both before that comes to pass. That is the only way to lead them to salvation. Don't fuck with me! There's no way I could do that! Lord Bishop, are you okay? Hey, she's over here! Damn! Yep, the message we picked up in the shelter. Yuma, Kazuya. It had all been planned from the start. The accident, the subsequent rescue, Yuma joining the army and fighting demons on the front lines. All of it, every last bit of it, had been designed to collect demon battle data from their candidates, Kazuya and Yuma. Kazuya, you waking up at that particular moment had also been a part of their plan for a long, long time. As a special candidate, they made sure to force you to fight demons and their biological weapons, timing the attacks to ensure no one else could interfere. Mika wasn't trying to have you killed. She released you from the cryogenic stasis on MOW's orders. The reason she tried to kill you in that parking lot was probably the feelings she'd been suppressing. After all, as an agent of MOW, she knew all about your true nature. You were my boyfriend and Yuma's best friend, so she suppressed the terror she felt around you. I believe you fought numerous demons after waking up. You were supposed to take down these hostile demons and unconsciously absorb their power. The angelic magic would have then amplified it. As it is, the power sealed within me was already tainted after killing your parents. It's strange that a human has been able to accept and stabilize it. If you were to lose control, even once, there'd be no stopping you. You become a threat to all life on Earth. There's only one way to prevent that from happening. Kill you before it happens. Remove the angelic magic from your corpse and reseal it within me. And now, here I am. But I can't do it. I can't kill you. This is my sin. If I'd only ended my life at the cliff back then, at the very least you would never have been burdened with my powers. This is something I should be atoning for. You're completely blameless in all this. I pray for your happiness. I want to be by your side forever. I'm so sorry, Kazuya. But we never killed any demons, so the magic's not going to go rampant. Reina. She didn't know what to do. She had only ever wanted to make you happy. But it's because of her you've been turned into a monster. If she left you be, you'd turn into this messiah and destroy the world with your runaway power. The only salvation you would bring is chaos and destruction. The only way to prevent that is to extract the angelic magic out of you but she'd have to kill you to do that. Well, actually, the way you are now, there might be another option. Another option? You haven't killed a single demon you met so far. In other words, the angelic magic can't run amok. If we could return the magic to her in its current state, we might be able to resolve this peacefully. Return it? Is that possible? Well, I mean, it's not like we could return all of it. Some of it will be stuck to your soul by now. But we should be able to return enough of it to its former angelic owner that you won't have to worry about the magic going berserk inside you. First off, though, Reina needs to wake up. We can't return to her if she's asleep. Rather than wasting time talking about things, you should be focusing on getting out of here. It's alright. I know you can do it. You've already changed my fate, after all. Well, I handed over the thing I was supposed to hand you, so I'm off. Don't you go getting yourself killed, Kazuya. Hold it. Hyaki! Huh? Where'd she... She's gone. Just poof. Like that.